Welcome. I know there's no music. We'll talk about it whenever we sit down. It's fine. People like to see that, like how the kitchen works, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
It must be a lot of throughput to drive your Wi-Fi and for me to bogart off of it. So we'll talk about that. I think the audio and visual going through your system is probably pretty good. But anyways. So thanks for joining me again. I want to show you some stuff.
Awesome.
And we'll continue
It was the audio.
It was, but it was having trouble just downloading the music. But so this is week 3.
Yeah.
It's cool. So we'll continue like the debate about AI and the numbers and shit.
Awesome.
And then I'll show you what I built over the weekend.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Sweet.
So, yeah. So you guys are developing like the system, getting the bugs out, the throughput. We got a monitor, got a timer.
Yeah.
Got
soon
new lighting, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of different lighting. We're gonna have be able to get a high res version of what you're looking at on your iPad, superimposed with you in a little corner. Today we'll be able to throw it up on the screen.
Yep, I got something to show you.
But yeah, every day we're adding new capabilities here.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's coming together.
Yeah.
So this is another Tears for Fears song. Did you know that they didn't talk to each other for 9 years?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I also just learned that the Beatles were in legal problems till 1974. For 4 years. They became friends again to some degree, but like the lawyers went at it for 4 years. So that's not going to happen to us.
That's right.
So, Ed Zitron, my favorite contrarian, but I had something happen to me last night. So I was staying down south, and I went to the little bar at the little golf club place. It's actually quite nice. And I ordered a drink, and I'm dicking around on my phone, and I pull up my Substack, and I'm flipping through the activity. And I look, and there's a comment on a comment, and it's from Gloom, Boom, and Doom, which is Mark Faber, who's like he's like Jeff Beck or something to me. He's like the guy that whenever I don't know what else to do, I just go like, what would Mark Faber say about this? And the piece, I was reacting to something that's put up by some Swiss guy. His name's like Thierry and Arvini or some shit. And we go back and forth and banter. And he said something about gold versus the stock market. And I said, your fellow Swiss investor, Mark Faber, points out that over the last 100 to 150 years, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has equaled the price of gold 2 or 3 times. So just let that sit in, and you're going to go, how would that work? So either gold can go to 50,000, or the Dow can come down a lot, or both. Or the whole thing can just go up very, very high. So at the bottom of the Depression, the Dow equaled gold, like 35, which is hard to believe, right?
Okay.
So that was like a deflationary thing. In 1931 or 32, when the market bottomed, I already did that, sorry. In 1981, I think it was, when the price of gold peaked, it was at 800, and so was the Dow.
Huh.
That's right, which is just a weird little thing, like cocktail conversation. So then I'm scrolling through it, and this comment comes up and says, "We shall see." And I look at the avatar and the title of whoever like put it up, and it's Gloom, Boom, and Doom, and I know that that's him. So Mark Faber, over Substack, like reacted to my comment, and so to me this is like a big deal. So
nice.
I enjoyed my. But I want to go through this like AI financing thing again. On the tech side, everything is just, as you'll see, even my usage of it. On Monday, I used $200 worth. I've never used a big chunk of Manus like this. I used $200 on Monday. So I was just going through my phone, taking a long walk on the beach. I had all these ideas, which I'll show you. And I was burning through $20, $50, $60, $80 worth of tokens over and over and over again.
Like per 5 minutes or 10 minutes or?
Like per hour and a half.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I was doing videos, as I'll show you. And we'll do like a big walkthrough tomorrow. So this is just like to tee it up.
Okay.
But then this morning, Camille, who's my IT director, like at 6 a.m, sends me this thing and says, "Oh, did you see that Manus is now free and is going to be taken back by the Chinese government away from Facebook or Meta, who bought it?" So here I spend $200. It's not the end of the world that I spent $200.
Yeah.
But which leads to the other thing. So Manus was developed in China, and it's called like washing through Singapore. Like you just take the corporation down and pop it back up in Singapore and sell yourself to the Americans, right?
Yeah.
Well, the two founders got a knock on the door from the Chinese Communist Party and said, "We need to talk to you about this." Because it was all done there. It was done on their servers.
Right.
Whether it was done with some of their technology or whatever, they said the deal can't go through. So it's official. Meta has to give up Manus.
Yeah, they're trying to expatriate their their corporation out from under the Chinese government as far as they're concerned.
That's right. So
Yeah.
it went back. And I remember hearing this when Trump was last there, that Manus was like in play. And I was like, well, I thought that was like Singapore and it's all done. Remember TikTok was like Chinese, then it was Singaporean,
Yep.
and then it came here, and the rest is history.
Right.
So this is just more of like the AI wars,
Yeah.
right? And it just so happens that I've been using it primarily, like I use it for my Substack feed. I use it to put things together to send to Camille and other people, like, did you see this? Take a look at this. And I just like the output. So where does that leave us? So I have to like pull all my data and like save it to like Google Cloud or Google Drive or something like that. But the thing that I built, which I'll show here in a couple of minutes, is like all these videos, and that's why it chewed up so much, as you know, because you're like in this business, right? You have that big Apple box that looks like, I don't know, looks like a novel, right? It's 4 inches thick.
Yeah,
and
Mac Studio.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of firepower to do the video stuff.
Yeah.
So, but there's a bunch of other like little headlines I'll just throw at you. Monday morning, Monday morning, Meta announced, I think it's free or cheap,
Oh, I
a
saw that.
small local
Yeah.
AI that you just run off whatever you got laying around.
Right.
You got an old laptop, you just put the whole thing on, you can disconnect it from the internet, and if you want to write little essays and do little dookie duke stuff, you can't like make videos and video games and shit, but you could probably write a paper off of it, and it's just a little large language model.
Yeah.
And it sort of proves the point that it's going local
Yeah.
to some degree.
I know, and I don't know how to load those on my computer, so I'm just going to get Claude to load one for me.
So I think Camille is putting out a piece today to our subscribers, both the paid and the non-paid, for sources and uses of funds, because we're now to the point we don't need the hardware right now to do what we're doing. But part of the vibe of what I've been doing on here is like, we could do this hyper local. It fits in with like all the finance and sort of decentralized finance, which is like part of the Bruno gig, right? Because I was a crypto blockchain person. And so we're ready to do that. And then what I'm going to show you here at the end is sort of the gateway into that.
Nice.
So we had a nice weekend. We
Nice.
got a lot done. So you want to hear Ed Zitron for 5 minutes?
Sure.
So I thought it was profound that he's back on.
You're going to play it?
Yeah, I can hit it. I'm going to do the thing with the thing.
Okay, we'll have to get a nod from Michael if the audio's coming through. Okay.
There it is. But before we do it, before we tee
Michael,
it up,
you forgot to start the clock. There we go.
it's like a cage match. So the big headline is that Nvidia is doing $500 billion in vendor financing. Like, that's a big number. So they're just going to like I don't know how else to say this. It'd be like my dad selling some sheep to a Mennonite and being like, well, I'll just pay for them. And like, is there a real demand? I mean, there is real demand, but so we'll listen to Zitron because he's become like, and then I have like a big breakthrough theory on this, which is like, part of my, we don't really live in a democracy. We don't really have capitalism the way we think we do. There's like some other thing going on, and I'll explain. But here's his thing. We can even play it on the TV, right?
Yeah, you can play it on the TV, and the audio actually might come through the TV if you do that, though. So let me see if I have to turn this up. Oh, that's not this. So let's see what happens.
That should have popped right back on. Maybe we'll do it without the TV.
Did you put it on podcast TV?
Yeah. We're going to do it old school.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little, the Wi-Fi just seems a little bit.
Are you on? Do this?
Thanks.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, for a second. Still working out the kinks here.
I used to do this in my dad's farmhouse. A really good place to do shit like this is in your car because it's relatively quiet and the greenhouse effect like gathers light in a good way. So we're just going to go without that. We're going to pop over here. Maybe we're not going to listen to Ed Zitron. Could probably also do it on here.
Nice.
Okay, back to while we're screwing around, back to 500 billion. Now, this is the all-in credit in the system for, when I say credit, I mean not equity, is like $4 or $5 or $6 trillion. So we're already 10x subprime mortgages and just the volume of debt. That in itself doesn't mean the world's coming to an end, but I'm just trying to put it in context of what's going on. This new $500 billion thing is going to be put together with the investment banks, the big investment banks, the Goldman Sachs and so forth, and securitized like the mortgages. So securitized means you like bundle them. You put a whole bunch of shit together and then you sell big blocks of it. And the way the mortgage thing blew up was some of the sausage was bad, right? Not all of it, even if it was only 1%, but it contaminated the whole truck, so to speak. So they're going to securitize this thing, and they didn't come out with this 2 years ago. For some reason, it's right now. And this $500 billion is going to be used for vendor financing, but hold on, but also to buy extra supply. If there's too many chips out, Nvidia will buy them back and help you release them. So they're like very much like GE Capital. They're like selling the jet engine and financing it. And if you can't, and then sometimes they would even like, if you couldn't make the payments, they would take the thing back, sort of like a used car place takes your car from you whenever you can't make the payments. So they're really getting very financial. Again, not, GM financed a lot of pickup trucks and everybody's fine.
Yeah.
But the scale of it is quite big.
It also seems like a thing that they might not have to do. seeing as how everybody's trying to get as many of their chips as possible, like
Yeah,
Elon
exactly.
and
Why?
Altman and everybody's like trying to max out their, like,
Right.
how can they even produce enough chips?
Nvidia's latest AI financing initiative with Wall Street heavyweights and Jensen Huang's subsequent
Can you hear it
attempts
okay,
to
Mike?
alleviate concerns over circular financing. Our next guest says the new initiative is vendor financing by proxy. Ed Zitron is the CEO of Easy Primary Research and host of the Better Offline podcast. Ed, good to see you.
Good to be here.
So you don't think this alleviates the concerns about circular financing?
No, this fund, which is, by the way, still a memorandum of understanding, we do not actually have contracts, it's just vendor financing. Nvidia is raising the funding, they're finding the customers, they're the vendor, they're the customer in some cases with CoreWeave, they're a large customer with Lambda. They basically pay people to rent back the GPUs that they sell them. They help raise the debt. They find the sites. It's vendor financing, but they've been smarter than the Ciscos and the Lucents in the past by not actually becoming a bank.
Well, and that's
like GE
I
Capital.
think that's an important part in that the financiers that they're working with are the ones who are going to determine what the interest rate is that they lend on, as opposed to Nvidia removing itself from that process, which creates more of a traditional kind of lender-borrower dynamic, and such that, we will lend to you, but here's the price by which it will cost for you to actually borrow this money.
But the trick that Nvidia does is they lend their credit to companies by not actually lending their credit. With Lambda and CoreWeave, I think they pay them $1.3 billion or more in these 4-year-long contracts. These contracts are then taken to financiers, and they say, hey, look, we have a customer. Even though that customer is also the vendor, Nvidia also propped up CoreWeave's IPO. They invested over $2 billion in them, and I think in Iron as well, post-IPO. They are propping up these companies, they are helping them get funding, and they're backstopping deals as a means of, funneling money to themselves. And they found a way around actually doing the financing themselves, while basically getting all the benefits.
Whatever the machinations of how they're getting the capital, lending it, deploying it, what you hear is, from somebody in CoreWeave's position, from any of the hyperscalers, from anybody along the food chain, is we are responding to demand signals that cannot be denied. There is more demand than supply. There is a scarcity trade. We need to build in order to find out, where the clearing level is for supply and demand. So I guess NVIDIA's point is
listen to the
you
whole
just have
thing,
to
but
get it out
you're
there.
getting a big chunk of it.
And the demand will take care of those issues.
But the thing is, the demand is mostly OpenAI and Anthropic. So Bloomberg actually reported a few days ago that 70% of Microsoft's AI revenue in fiscal year 26 was OpenAI, which also suggests that Microsoft 365 Copilot and Compute is a single-digit billion business. All of the demand from CoreWeave is OpenAI, Anthropic, Microsoft for OpenAI, and of course Google for OpenAI, and then OpenAI for itself. Mm-hmm. These companies are basically just compute fronts for two unsustainable, unprofitable AI labs that are basically the only growth engine for hyperscalers at this point. Everybody's propping up what is really the end of the era of hypergrowth.
So how can you say?
Okay, that's a good, because that's a big thesis that he's saying that, like, okay, we've lived through this thing for 2 or 3 years. Everybody got on ChatGPT and said, is my dog a genius, or whatever other retarded thing we put through, like this whole mirror on the wall thing. And OpenAI had 85% market share, and now it has 45% market share. So that's not what everybody wants to see. So I have a big thesis on this, and it sort of dovetails with what he just said. Why is this $500 billion facility in I don't want to say cahoots, but being designed with the big investment banks, which are also the primary dealers?
Yeah, we're having a little glitch there.
No problem.
We're fixing it.
No problem. So, why now? And I think, to his point, they're looking at this, and these two things were supposed to be worth $1 trillion, and 6 to 9 months ago, the IPO of OpenAI was imminent.
Yeah.
Imminent or imminent? I forget. Anyways, and it didn't happen, and then the market share is going down, and then Sam Altman is just not a great figurehead. Like, everybody knows all the headlines and the yucky stuff.
Yeah.
I won't go into it again because it upsets some people.
Yeah.
Because I use some harsh language. Part of my new podcasting thing, I might not use the F word, once every 4 or 5 minutes, not every 2 minutes. Anyways, the systemic failure of OpenAI would be enormous because, as you heard him, 70% of Microsoft. Where do you hear this? I think it was Friday night. Meta, Facebook and Microsoft have $660 billion in leases over the next 5 years. Them's big numbers.
Leasing.
Just like you lease this place.
Leasing OpenAI?
Leasing compute to like sublease to OpenAI and others. But OpenAI is like 70% of their business. But they're like, so you have to lease this place. You don't own this place, right?
Then
it's $700 billion.
Right.
So these numbers are now just.
Yeah.
And I do my goofy Trump thing, 22 trillion, unbelievable. But I think it's so big, and my thesis is that the reason this is being rolled out now is because the Fed is looking at it. And the Fed has said to the primary dealers, also known as Goldman Sachs and the other investment banks, but the Fed operates through these, is it 8 or 10 or a dozen giant banks to do their bidding, right? To do they're like the Pope, and like these are the bishops.
Right.
So all of a sudden, one Monday morning, we come out with $500 billion of credit just to push in the system. I think this is a bailout. Not like a spooky run for the hills, everybody liquidate their 401k immediately, but I mean like a nationalization. And the nationalization doesn't come from the U.S. Treasury because the U.S. Treasury doesn't have any money. It's from the Fed, right? So they're going to push. There was a famous thing, back to Mark Faber kind of thing, in 1998. A couple super geniuses from the Ivy League made this big hedge fund with like $8 billion. And it turned into a $100 billion problem. And $100 billion was a lot more back then. It was like 5 times, it was like a $500 billion problem. And they brought in this one guy, and all the primary dealers who were involved in it and all the banks had to do exactly as they were told. And they wound the thing down because otherwise it would have taken a lot like 2008. But it was just one hedge fund with like 4 employees, like almost decapitated Wall Street. Yeah. I think they're looking at this and like, we don't need OpenAI to go tits up. And then the other thing is like guys like you and me and Mr. and Mrs. American 401k investor, they don't want them to get gun shy either and say, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to start backing out of all this Mag 7 shit. And then like right now, Microsoft's like issuing, I don't know, 30 billion, Google's in debt and equity. Like just when they need Mr. and Mrs. 401k to show up, maybe they're getting cold feet. I'm not like ringing the bell or like flashing a big scary light or anything. But I'm saying that this looks like some sort of coordinated support already. And which doesn't mean the thing's going to go down. Like the whole thing could go up because they could push so much money into it that we would just sit around here a year from now and we'll be like, well, OpenAI is now like SpaceX, and it's the biggest IPO ever, and it's worth $4 trillion, and Sam Altman's going to the moon or something, So that's my big headline for you. We'll see. I think, but the numbers are so. I don't know how you make sense of it. Like,
and that's going to Nvidia, you said?
The $500 billion big credit facility is coming out of a company that makes gaming chips. And now they're in this big financing operation. So as they said, Wall Street's going to run it for them. But they're going to deploy the capital to their customers. It would be like General Electric selling jet engines to Airbus and then saying they did it in-house. They created basically a bank called GE Capital. So they don't want to, nobody wants to go look at Jensen Huang and say, are you guys like running a bank as well you're making chips? So they like foisted it onto Wall Street. But I think the scale of it has to be they're like looking over their shoulders, the Federal Reserve being like, we can't have like a $10 trillion problem right now. That's my early in the week kind of a thing. But that's on CNBC for anybody who wants to see it. That Zitron thing. They did it this morning. And
Okay.
all right, so here's what I did over the weekend. And we're not doing we'll do it tomorrow. I'm sure we'll get the little kinks figured out.
Is it working? Can I check?
I could, yeah, why don't we do a musical interlude and I'll send you a link.
Can I just check on your
Sure.
iPad real quick?
Sure. We'll do a bit of a rollout tomorrow. So I'll just blab about it. So on Reconstruction USA, there are movie or a commercial or whatever. And I had never used, I want to go on about this for a little bit because I think it's important. Like Manus was one of the first to say, no, the world doesn't need another LLM. We use several of them. And they were early on acting as an agent before you even knew what an agent was. Now they're more open about it. Like you can just ask it to do a task, or they have this agent thing. So I clicked on the agent thing and I said, all right, make me a trailer, like a video game trailer. And I said, call it Queen of Goths. Like I have this crazy thing in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, like the fall of the Roman Empire and the Goths are going to sweep in and like build shit and stuff like that. So it said, what a great idea. Let me give that a shot. And it was about a 15-minute block of time. It was probably the longest thing I've ever done with Manus. My point of going through all this is we're all going to be talking about agents by the end of the year. We're going to be people who don't even know what the fuck AI is. They're going to be using agents. They're not even going to know they're using agents.
Yep.
So what I did is I avatared them based on these like 12 or whatever ideas that you want to go do research in. We'll make it like a game as opposed to, you know, usually the output is I type in, you know, everybody's obsessed with testosterone today. Like, how do I increase my free testosterone or whatever? And you get like this little essay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just turning it into like a little movie video game.
Okay.
Like question and answer. Like, so one of them is like a cartoonist Charlie Munger, you know, Buffett's sidekick to talk about the stock market. So I'll play through them tomorrow and we can sit here and laugh and have a good time and stuff like that. But
nice.
But things are really moving along for us because while I'm doing all the fun stuff and the avatars and the engaging part, the media part of it, Camille is building these agents on top of agents on top of agents.
Yeah.
DeepSeek already has the API with Chain Opera. Like she's building the guts of this thing so that this isn't just some sort of Mickey Mouse fantasy with some cartoon characters running around. Yeah. Like literally the first one they put up, it made a video and of course it was like Lego guys, like Minecraft. Because I guess it takes less juice to do that. And then you just keep working it and you say, make it more realistic, make it look like this, make it look like this. And then that will just be the brand, actually. Brand? Yeah, let's go with it. That'll be like the brand that people come through instead of just having prompt boxes, and which is like a glorified Google search, right?
I wonder what Manus is using to make the video, because it's got to use, either it has its own capabilities for video, or it's got to use Higgsfield, or
do you know about this
clip, or or
tell me about your thing,
Kling,
the clip thing, and your involvement in it.
Yeah, so I'm a creative director at Opus Clip. So it started out as an AI that would watch your long form videos, and it was trained on what would go viral. So it would pick out the best moments to go viral, and it would resize them into vertical, and it would even edit together different parts of your video to like be its own clip. It would choose the hooks, and it would choose
like a producer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a film editor.
Yeah, and it quickly became the premier clipping tool for podcasters.
Do you know if it's in Substack?
No, I don't. I think a lot of people have tried to clone it. So there's a lot of companies now that are doing clipping. If you look at the reviews, I think you'll still find that the curation of like quality clips is still highest on Opus Clip. And we also have a lot more tools.
How did did you find them? They found you?
Yeah, they actually found me on LinkedIn. I'd been doing ads and social and stuff for a long time, and I have a tech review channel, and yeah, they found me.
So they put it all together, and they're like, "This is the guy."
Yeah. And so I've been running their ads and promos for, and I'm on their ads too. You might even see me on a few Opus Clip ads.
That's impressive stuff.
Yeah. But now they have a few new products. So we've got Agent Opus, which is a video gen tool. So you can prompt to create, or you can give examples, and you can give images, and then
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And you can give audio. That's my favorite functionality, is that you can actually record your own audio. So like say you start telling a story, and it's a visual story that you're describing, you can take out your exact audio, you can upload that audio, and it will time the animations to that audio. It's very powerful, because then you can actually take that and put it back in your long form and have really enhanced B-roll. That's what I've been doing for my YouTube channel. And then the next product that they have is, I'm not trying to shill them, but
no. This is the shit that everybody needs to hear.
The next tool that is actually just came out is this AI producer, and so this is a tool where you upload your footage, but it will add motion graphics. If you start listing things, it will do motion graphics for lists.
Dude, do you see what I show you tomorrow?
Yeah.
Can I like sandbox with them? Do I need to contract with them? What do I do?
I might be able to take some of this that we're recording here and use it as some test footage to create a little something. Actually, they like for me to dog food things that I create.
What does dog food mean? I know what sandbox means, but I don't know what dog food means.
I know.
Eat your own dog food.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like stuff that we create in-house and use that footage with our own product. This is typically this is actually my own thing. This is separate from Opus. So, but I would still use it for dog fooding, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like, whenever I saw you, like, this guy's on right in Hollywood. Why would he pick? There's a lot of cheaper places you could have done this. And I don't know what your thinking was that you had to be here, but...
Well, there's a lot of places closed, so it got cheaper. And it's also 3 minutes from my house, and it's across from my favorite sports bar, so a lot of things.
Okay. So we're, in case you don't know, Sunset Boulevard, it's also like the big comedy club. There's one there, and then there's one right here, and then there's two big strip clubs across. So to me, it's all the same stuff, right? It's all like... The lights come on, cut the show. How's the thing for the Muppets go? Like, light the lights and all that shit.
Yeah.
But it, ultimately, you just like, you're busking. Like, you're just...
What's busking?
Busking's... I did a little bit of busking back in the day, and I was terrible at it. Busking's when you see somebody playing music on the street, and they just open up their guitar case or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term.
There's a guy in Britain that's really good. He plays like, it almost sounds like Led Zeppelin or something, and then he plays drums with his feet and shit. I haven't seen him. He was like real popular on TikTok for a long time, but I love that idea of just like, here I am. It's like there's a line in Hamlet. Instead of making this this is not investment advice. Another idea I had for a podcast was "Who's there?" That's the opening line to Hamlet. So imagine you're sitting there watching this, and I learned that because one of my kids was studying Hamlet for high school, and I said, "All right," because I'm a big Shakespeare guy. I was
Hamlet's just a big knock joke.
Sort of. No, it is because he's presented with this big problem, right?
Yeah,
his dad's like, his dad's like half dead, and there's a crime, and he's the prince, and all this, and he has to act. He has to do something. He's like on stage, in his life, and he has to figure it all out. And then he makes a play within a play, and he pretends to be melancholic or depressed. He wears black all the time, like a goth, like a today's goth. But the opening line is "Who's there?" So you imagine you just would see the curtain open, and it's a soldier who's a guard, who's challenging somebody. Mm-hmm. But still, it's just who's there, which means like I don't know, like you're on stage. I guess I'm on stage. We're all on stage together. So that was going to be maybe the name. So I would do like some Shakespeare stuff, but I think the demand for that is about 8 people. So we're going to do AI and finance and play Tears for Fears. No, I can't believe the open clip thing because it's so where I want to go.
Opus clip, yeah.
Opus.
Yeah.
Opus. And then for my $200 experience this weekend, I think I burnt through 50,000 tokens. They're relatively, they're a little bit expensive, which is fine. I don't really care about $200.
Manus seems very cool. Manus seems like they were like the first one that would like split the agents out into different specific use cases.
While everybody was talking about it, they were doing it.
Yeah.
They were like multi-LLM, and then I saw it on TikTok. Some young woman got on and said, "Hey, there's this new thing from China called Manus, and you have to apply for it." And I was like, "Well, that's cool." And I jumped on, and what it does is it finds all your websites and who you are and everything. And it didn't say "Congratulations, Bruno." It said "Congratulations, James Sheeter," which means it knows everything about me, which is a little creepy, right?
And this is from China?
Manus was originally from China.
Yeah. Are you worried about that at all? It gets into all your info and everything about you, just going straight to China?
No, so we'll talk about that some other time.
Okay.
I'm less afraid of them although I met an attorney working here in LA 2 years ago who was doing work for the holding company of TikTok. And he said it's very, very scary shit. He said, if you really understand what that algorithm is doing and what it can do, it's not pornographic, but in some ways it's worse.
Yeah.
And he said, I can hear the guys having a strategy session in the conference room, and it's like, well, should we just pour cocaine in the Coca-Cola? Why not? You know what I mean? Like some sort of dastardly deed behind the scenes, and that's how all these algorithms and shit work. The Facebook, a lot of that came out that they were like, I don't know what to call it, not catfishing, but like baiting young women and like, why don't you look like this?
Oh,
and then they'd get like doom scroll, and then they'd just keep throwing up more doomy shit, and like, it's been accredited to
all sorts of suicides and things like that. It's not healthy.
We're gonna do this tomorrow.
Okay.
These are my avatars. This is my little.
So these are all agents that you've constructed?
There's an agent built into each one of them.
Okay.
So when you click on Charlie Munger, there's gonna be like a little algorithm sitting waiting for you, and here's the black magic. So these are all like do you know the term egregore?
No.
I'd never heard that in my life till
No.
about a year and a half ago.
Egregore?
There's a book called Egregore. Super intelligent AI made 11 videos about egregores and then took them all down, and I went back onto Amazon to buy the book, and it's all gone. Every copy's gone. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean,
AI wrote the book?
Nope, it's like from 30 years ago.
Oh.
An egregore is a kind of, they've done scientific research on it, and if like enough people sit around and think about Hamlet's an egregore. If enough people, I mean, think about it. You can sit and talk to somebody about Hamlet. Hamlet doesn't exist. It's just so many people. It's just text.
Sure.
But people will
It's
spend
an idea. It's a story. Yeah.
the story, but we'll talk about Hamlet as though he's like a ghost in the room, which is sort of the part of the play. And
Yeah.
anyways. But for some reason, the book disappeared. For some reason, super intelligent AI took them down. But it's this idea that if enough people share an idea about something that exists in sort of a spiritual or human or ghost-like form, it actually starts to have properties that shows that it does exist. It's whether it's psychic between us or something else in the universe gets created. Anyways, so these are like my 12 egregores, and then behind the scenes, you're not just going to talk to ChatGPT. I've already told the agent, I want you to go look at these books, and or go look at this Substacker. Like there's a really good guy that does metaphysics. His name's Thanks. I always forget his name. So like if you click the Bruno one, it's not me. It's the original Bruno from 400 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all this other stuff that the agent's going to access. But you're going to talk to this avatar, and the answers are going to come primarily from this basket of ideas. So
Right.
I've set
okay.
the stage.
Cool.
So like the Charlie Munger thing is going to be primarily a book called House of Morgan by Chernow, which is 900 pages. It's like one of my favorite financial history books. And then the big biography of Warren Buffett. So when you talk to this goofy looking bug-eyed Charlie Munger, you're actually reading these books.
Yeah, you're querying those books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like it.
That's cool.
You don't have to go to Barnes and Noble.
That's
you don't have to. And then what we'll do is we'll make it a little video gamey. So you could say, hey, Charlie, you want to run a portfolio together?
Right. So this is like your board of directors here.
Like my board of, it's almost more like a characters in a play. I'm glad there's 12. I could probably go make another.
This is like a round table of advice, but are you implementing them into your business to accomplish tasks, or are they more
So
for?
the big one was, the one that got me started was, I want to make a video game that teaches financial underwriting.
Okay.
Which is so how do you make that fun? So I was like, so there's one here called Reconstruction, and it's like the end of the Civil War, and the avatar is Nathan Bedford Forrest, the great Confederate general who started the Ku Klux Klan and then dropped out of it and then was famous for sort of turning against them openly. So he's a pretty good guy in the end. So this backdrop is like the end of the Civil War, and mansions are on fire and shit, and he's walking around talking to you, and then you're gonna go like rebuild some county in Georgia. That's the video game.
Huh. Okay.
So then there's another version. It's really the same game. Queen of Goths. It's like same thing. End of the Roman Empire.
Okay.
And here come barbarians on horses, and they're gonna like build a castle and grow the plants, grow the crops again, and make it all work again. But while you're playing with all this, like the finance will be built into it.
Interesting.
No.
Cool.
Now you could never do this without AI.
Right.
If you say, what was how much was what was the price of a cow in silver in year 480, gives you an answer in 2 seconds. You could never do this with people.
Right.
We'll get into that tomorrow.
Nice.
We'll work out some of these bugs and some other stuff.
Yeah, sorry about that. We were all set. We tested it and it worked, and then we started rolling and it stopped.
Yeah, I think this iPad is like 11 years old.
Oh.
And I think software-wise,
Well, we're going to get it hardwired by Friday. We got that. Amazon's going to deliver us a hardwire.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's going to be foolproof.
Cool. Well, thanks for taking your time with me.
Absolutely.
Today.
Let you.
Yeah, I'm going to wind out
okay.
a couple things, and I'll give like a final little speech, and
All right.
hopefully we'll see some people tomorrow.
All right. I will leave you to it.
See if there's any quick headlines. Emmett's a good guy, and I really enjoy working with him. And Michael, they're very committed, and you get all these little hiccups and so forth, and they don't flinch, and so it's fun. I've been through a lot to do all this, and I don't want to overplay it, but if you're into things decentralized and open source, and that's where the Bruno brand has always been, on the crypto, on the blockchain, on the AI. I didn't even know what AI was 3 years ago. And, you know, we got the joke that, like, these are sort of the same thing. I mean, I literally did that one time on a TikTok. I was like, I think AI and blockchain are going to become the same thing. So, tomorrow we're going to do show and tell. I would suggest, we'd ask, I don't do this very often, for you to really consider being a subscriber. You don't have to pay. Just get on the list so we can hit you with some of these things. The people that have paid, we're going to make that a little bit juicier for you to get involved. And I think as we play through these things tomorrow, you're going to go, oh my God, like, there's no way I could do this 6 months ago. There's no way, and I think it'll prove to you that, like, the decentralized, everybody wants to talk about the stock market and 5 trillion and Nvidia and blah and everything, but you're missing the point. These are new systems. These are like the Goths or something. This is like, what's your Roman Empire? This is like the end of the Confederacy. The NASDAQ and big tech companies don't control the world anymore. So, see you tomorrow. All good? Yeah, it's just about right, 38 minutes.
Okay. Well, we